We begin on October 13th, 1989 in Hot Springs, Arkansas, as a pleasant vacation was coming to an end for Christine and Terry Copestick and their 2 children.
It was Friday the 13th, and we were on the last day of our vacation, and I was washing up the breakfast dishes, and the children, Kimberly and Ross, were sitting in on the couch watching cartoons. He's not afraid of water. He's not afraid of heights. The child has no fear.
During the family's 1-week stay at the resort, 2.5-year-old Ross Copestick often spent time watching for the ducks that swam in the pond 3 stories below.
I asked Christine where Ross was, and she said, well, he's in there watching TV with Kimberly.
I don't see him.
He was just there.
Ross?
He's calling throughout the condo, Ross, where are you, Ross? And we thought he was playing a game on us, or he'd gone into the bathroom, or just toddling around.
Well, he was just on the couch, honey.
I thought, well, maybe he'd gotten out the door when I went out to the car, so I told Christine I was going to go out and see if he got out.
Ross?
Lyndall and Connie Smith and their son Kendall were enjoying a morning walk around the pond when something caught Lyndall's eye.
What is that out there?
I spotted something floating out in the water. It looked like maybe a towel or someone's piece of garment or clothes. And I asked my wife, what is that?
No luck at all, huh?
Lyndall, that's the baby.
What?
That's the baby.
Couldn't really believe that it was, but it looked like a baby. I thought maybe it's a doll, a stuffed doll that's fell in the water.
Here.
There was just a chance it was a human being. Anything was going to be done, any chance of life, there wasn't any time to waste. All the time I thought, well, it's surely not a baby. I think it's a doll. I hope it's a doll. When I lifted it up out of the water, the face was white and puffy. It just had no life whatsoever. In my mind, a baby is obviously dead.
I just ran in the building. I said, just call an ambulance, Baby's drowned out here.
When we continue, paramedic Frank Scott and his partner responded to the call.
We always make mental pictures of what possibly happened and what to expect when you get there. On the way, you might think of your own kids, and it kind of sends shivers through you.
I continued looking through the condo for him, calling for him. And for some reason, I went into our bedroom, the master bedroom of the unit, and I pulled back the curtains. I looked down, and they were lifting Ross's body out of the water. And about that time, I saw my husband down there, and I just screamed.
Ross.
He was pale, and my breathing, his lips were blue. He was very limp. It was like he was dead.
Terry asked if anyone there could do CPR, but no one in the crowd had any training.
Even though I knew how to do CPR because we'd taken a class, I didn't want to be the one to have to do it on my own son. I didn't want to have to be depended on to be the one to bring him back. I know I didn't do CPR right. You're supposed to check for a heartbeat first. I didn't do that, but I did what I had to do, or did what I could do. I continued to breathe, and I could hear Christine screaming.
You gotta work his heart.
I can't.
You gotta work his heart.
I grabbed a hold of her by the shoulders and shook her for a second and said, you gotta do it. I was giving him air. To me, that was more than I thought I could do, even at that point. I couldn't do both.
I didn't know what to do. I was screaming. I was a lunatic. I was everything a mother probably shouldn't have been at that point. I thought that there was no chance. I thought between the fall and drowning that he was gone, that we wouldn't be able to bring him back. And I just couldn't bear that thought.
Two resort employees who were working nearby came to help. Landscaper Jim Birch had taken CPR training.
He took Ross and turned him over. A lot of water and garbage came out. It was about that time that we first heard a sound from him, just kind of a real faint whine. He started breathing a little bit, and he started coming around.
Check his pulse.
When I heard him moaning and groaning, I knew he was at least alive and had a chance. Some sensibility kicked into me, and I asked who pulled him out, and someone pointed to a man back behind me. And I ran over there, and I just threw my arms around him, and I just hugged onto him, and I said, thank you.
Within 7 minutes, the first of 2 ambulance crews arrived on the scene to begin treating Ross.
And I said, Terry, he's all broken up inside. I know he's got all kinds of internal injuries. And Terry said, that wouldn't happen from a drowning. That just wouldn't happen. I said, Terry, he fell from 3 floors up. And I pointed to the window.
You got the screen hanging out.
I looked up at the window and saw the screen hanging halfway out. All of a sudden, he's back in possibly a critical situation. Getting him breathing again suddenly seemed like the minor thing. It was what's wrong inside now.
Doing okay?
Good.
My first concern was the spinal cord being fallen, and then other injuries he possibly could have received from the CPR. We put the cervical collar on him,
2 and 3.
rolled him onto the long spine board, and immobilized him.
1, 2, and 3. Okay.
The paramedics, they just kept wrapping him with more and more things to steady him. They were afraid his back might be broken.
Real still, you're doing good.
And then they took him into the ambulance, and they put oxygen on him. They put heart monitors on him. They had all kinds of things. And I just kept praying. I said, please, God, don't let me lose him.
Ross was taken to National Park Medical Center, where he underwent a battery of tests.
The doctor came out, and this is 6 hours later, and they said, we've done everything we possibly can. We've run every x-ray we can. We can't find anything wrong.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Terry and I just looked at each other, we hugged each other, and we said, this is great.
Ross was kept in the hospital for observation. After 2 days, he was released.
For him to come away from it to be totally fine, it's almost like a dream. It had to be a miracle of some kind that he was up and around.
In the years since the accident, Ross Copestick and his family have grown close to Lyndall and Connie and Kendall Smith.
The Smiths had not been around there and saw him. They were the only ones around. Who knows, it may have been too late by the time we finally realized it.
I think Lyndall and Connie, they've always been special people since we've met them. They think they were meant to find Ross so that we could create a special relationship. And I hope we always keep this going.
It's amazing that he's alive. It's hard to describe how you feel about a child like that really might not have been here had all of the events not happened like they did.
He had his whole life ahead of him. He's just a little kid. He might be the president of the United States someday. And I'm just glad he's still alive.
He was meant to be saved for some reason. That remains to be seen. We're going to have to wait for Ross to grow up.